How many of us, before we go out in public, we look in the mirror and make sure we look okay? How many? You see, you can tell there's some bipolar people in this group because we don't care. But it's a common thing that we want to make sure we're attractive to other people because you never know who you might meet when you're out there, so you don't want to look bad. But there's a problem with that idea. How many of us, before we go out in public, look inside and see how we're thinking and how we're acting before we go out? How many? Wow, this is a wonderful group. Sometimes I get 6 people out of 600. This time we got 6 or 7 out of 250. We're doing better. We should all do that. That should be the most important thing in the world. If we were to look at how we're thinking and how we're acting before we acted and before we went out, we would change the world. The world would be a better place if we learned how to do something called introspection. Introspection means to look within. In 2 minutes a day, you can change your life by introspecting, by looking within. And the way it works is that we watch ourselves and we understand what's going on. And we do it in 3 different areas. We monitor what we're thinking, we monitor how we're acting, and we monitor our spiritual life. And I'm going to go into each of those for you. What we do is we build ourselves a question list. 5 to 7 questions of each topic. So I come up with 5 to 7 questions about how am I thinking today? Am I thinking positively towards other people? Am I thinking about how I'm perceiving the world? Am I thinking loving thoughts towards others? How am I thinking today? And I just write those questions down. And then I write 5 to 7 questions, how am I acting today? Am I treating people well? Am I yelling at anyone? Am I saying I love you to someone? Am I doing things that are going to make a difference in the world? And then I look at my spiritual life. And I'm not talking about you have to follow my religion. I'm talking about, am I following my beliefs? Am I acting in a way that is compatible with what I actually believe? And for me, it's, did I meditate today? Did I read a spiritual book? Did I pray? Did I seek forgiveness? You know, those kinds of questions. And this seems like the simplest of jobs. So what I do is every night I pick a time so it becomes a regular nightly habit. I ask myself those questions. I just read them. And I make sure I keep those questions every day for at least 10 days before I change one question. I don't change all of them, I change one at a time. Because over the last couple weeks, I decided I should be monitoring this about my life. And that is literally all I do. It takes 2 minutes a day. It sounds simplistic, it sounds stupid. But let me tell you what happens. I go through the day and I'm paying no attention whatsoever. And then that night, I read my questions. Did I yell at anyone today? Yep. How do I know that? I wasn't paying any attention. The truth of the matter is the subconscious part of my mind knew that it had to answer tonight, so it pays attention 24 hours a day. I'm planting a seed in the subconscious part of my mind that it should be monitoring these ideas, these actions, these thoughts. It should be watching me all day long. I'm not paying any attention at all. My subconscious mind is. So now I'm cruising through the day, paying no attention at all, and after practicing this for a while, month or so, all of a sudden in the middle of the day, my mind goes, hey, you take one more step, you're going to do it. It sees it coming. It sees it before we act because our mind is watching what our triggers are, what's setting us off, what's making us act the way we do. So we're becoming more aware. So here I am cruising through the day, and suddenly my mind goes, hey, one more step, you're going to do it. So what do? I do it anyway. Because it's a bad habit. I don't have any control over it at this point, but I'm aware of it. I now know what's going on. I'm not delusional any longer about my actions. I see them. I see them happening. So I keep doing it. And over time, all of a sudden one day I'm cruising through life and it says, hey, you take 2 more steps, you're going to do it. It's starting to become aware earlier and earlier what's driving our actions and our thoughts. All of a sudden one day, my mind goes, hey, you take 2 more steps, you're going to do that thing. What would happen if you changed direction and went this way? Bingo. I just took over my own life. I now have control over my behavior.